Water does not rush its work. It moves slowly, seeps between rocks, flows around whatever it encounters, and over time transforms everything. Where it falls, it leaves clear marks of a process that is still alive. To look at a waterfall is to witness a story that has not yet ended, a continuous dialogue between stone climate and gravity. On this journey, we explore some of the most remarkable waterfalls on the planet, places where geology and beauty come together naturally. And before we continue, tell us where in the world you're watching from. Sharing that detail makes this journey feel closer and more real. Number 12. Angel Falls, Venezuela. Deep within Canama National Park, the landscape rises into monumental plateaus known as turquoise sandstone formations that seem suspended outside of time. From the edge of one of these mesas flows Angel Falls, a drop of approximately 979 meters, considered the tallest waterfall on Earth.
Una cascada atraviesa el corazón del lugar, integrándose en la vida cotidiana y convirtiéndose en el eje visual y sonoro.
The visual experience changes with the seasons. Often the air disperses the water before it reaches the ground, creating a luminous mist that hovers over the surroundings. This reinforces the feeling of witnessing something more atmospheric than physical, where water seems to be in conversation with the wind. The turquoise act as vast natural catchment surfaces. Rainwater infiltrates the rock, travels through internal fissures, and emerges at this precise point, as if the landscape itself had chosen a single place to release its energy. Access to the area involves navigating rivers and authorized trails, always under conservation guidelines. Angel Falls is not just a geographic reference. It is an open window into an ancient Earth that still expresses itself without intermediaries. Number 11. Victoria Falls, Zambia and Zimbabwe. At the point where the Zambezi River meets a deep fracture in the land, the water spreads into a continuous curtain more than one.
Durante la caminata, el aire.
Victoria Falls stand out not only for their scale, but for the immersive sensation they create. Sound, humidity, and vibration form an experience felt even before the falls come into view. The vapor rising from the base forms a persistent cloud that generates small local microclimates. This constant mist inspired the traditional name, Mosi Oatunya, an expression that precisely describes the visual and acoustic phenomenon of the site. Sunlight passing through this haze produces shifting effects that transform the landscape throughout the day. The long-term action of the water has carved a sequence of gorges that channel the river's course, giving each season its own distinct character. Walkways and viewpoints designed for responsible observation allow visitors to appreciate the power of the flow from multiple perspectives. Here, exploration goes beyond sight. It becomes a full sensory experience that highlights the central role of water in shaping the African continent. Number 10. Ban Gioc-Detian Falls, Vietnam and China.
Este lugar no se impone por grandiosidad, sino por equilibrio.
Angel Falls, Venezuela. Deep within Canama National Park, the Ban Gioc-Detian does not present itself as a single drop, but as a harmonious sequence of cascades that expand and reconnect naturally. The water spreads into white fans, flows over natural terraces, and gathers in pools of green and turquoise hues.
Es un ejemplo claro de cómo explorar también implica comprender la relación entre paisaje, historia y experiencia cotidiana.
The result is a landscape that appears designed to guide the movement of water. Local communities have long coexisted with this environment, using the river as a meeting point and cultural reference. The waterfall acts as a unifying element, rather than a dividing line, reinforcing the idea of shared space. To walk through Ban Gioc-Detian is to understand how water can connect territories and cultures, offering a setting where exploration feels like a natural extension of the landscape itself. Number 9. Rhine Falls, Switzerland.
Las paredes rocosas protegen la bahía del viento, creando un espacio recogido donde el sonido del agua adquiere protagonismo.
With a front roughly 150 meters wide and a flow that can exceed 600,000 liters per second during snowmelt, the sense of power is immediate. The water advances steadily, strikes central rock formations, and splits into multiple shifting currents. This constant motion produces a deep, continuous sound that accompanies those who walk along the observation platforms. On clear days, the rising mist becomes a canvas where arcs of light appear across the flow.
Número 8. Lago Alakol, Kazajistán. Durante la caminata el aire se vuelve más fresco.
Rhine Falls shows that the energy of water does not depend solely on height. Here, exploration invites visitors to pause, listen, and feel how a great river expresses its character at a single point along its course. Number 8. Gullfoss, Iceland. Gullfoss lies at the western edge of Iceland's famous Golden Circle, where the Vita River flows through an open valley before dropping in 2 stages into a deep gorge. Its name, Golden Falls, refers to the warm tone the water takes on when light strikes the particles suspended in the air. The first drop is wide and slanted. The second is steeper and more concentrated. Together, they create the illusion that the river suddenly vanishes into the earth. Iceland's geology, shaped by volcanism and tectonic activity, has defined the course of this fissure over thousands of years. Constant mist produces frequent rainbows that shift with the position of the sun, while the sound echoes off the canyon walls. Trails and platforms allow for safe and respectful exploration of the site. Gullfoss is not just something to see, it is something to experience. It stands as a reminder of how intact natural processes can create landscapes of unforgettable intensity. Number 7. Multnomah Falls, United States. In the state of Oregon, a basalt cliff opens into 2 levels to form Multnomah Falls, one of North America's most recognizable waterfalls. With a total height of approximately 189 meters, the water descends gracefully, forming a white line against the deep green of the Columbia Gorge forest. The Benson Bridge, built in the early 20th century, crosses the middle section and offers a unique perspective of the surroundings.
Desde la ciudadela, las vistas se abren hacia un mar de tonalidades turquesas, cuevas naturales.
Well-marked trails make access easier while promoting responsible visitation. Multnomah is a clear example of how exploration can combine accessibility, conservation, and contemplation, allowing visitors to connect with the landscape without disturbing its balance. Number 6. Palouse Falls, United States. In southeastern Washington state, the Palouse River drops about 60 meters into a natural amphitheater formed by basalt columns. The dark tones and strong lines of the environment give the site a bold character that defines the visual experience from the very first moment.
El entorno transmite una sensación inmediata de orden y serenidad.
Currents. From authorized viewpoints, visitors can observe how a seemingly calm river transforms as it falls, revealing the cumulative effect of constant motion.
Lago Luis no busca impresionar de manera abrupta.
Number 5. Upper Yellowstone Falls, United States. Within Yellowstone National Park, the Yellowstone River plunges roughly 33 meters, marking the beginning of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. The upper falls stand out for their combination of flow color and geological setting. Strategically placed overlooks offer safe, comprehensive views of the scene. The sound of the water, amplified by the canyon walls, creates an immersive atmosphere that reinforces the feeling of standing at a natural threshold. This waterfall serves as a prelude, announcing the scale of the landscape that unfolds downstream, and reminding us of the importance of preserving these unique spaces.
No es un elemento fijo, sino una expresión dinámica del entorno.
Illusion that the Krka River in southern Croatia flows down through a series of limestone terraces formed by travertine deposits. Unlike other waterfalls, the focus here is not on a single drop, but on the accumulation of multiple cascades linked together into a dynamic, luminous landscape. The process is continuous. Mineral-rich water slowly deposits material that forms new natural barriers, gradually altering the river's course. This ongoing evolution turns the environment into a living system. Historic mills and remnants of traditional infrastructure show how local communities once used the river respectfully. Wooden walkways allow visitors to explore the area without disrupting the natural balance. The Krka waterfalls offer an experience that feels close and unhurried, ideal for understanding how water can build, not just erode landscapes. Number 3. Kravica, Waterfalls, Bosnia and Herzegovina. In a depression surrounded by lush vegetation, The Trebizond River spreads out at Kravica into a broad arc of falling water. Although the height is around 25 meters, the site's true uniqueness lies in its width and the atmosphere that surrounds it. The rock face is covered with mosses and hanging plants, creating a scene with an almost tropical appearance. During certain seasons, the flow expands and the fan becomes more uniform, noticeably transforming the landscape.
El recorrido ofrece múltiples puntos de observación, desde los que se aprecia el flujo constante del agua y la vida que se
The combination of water vegetation and mist produces a cool microclimate that invites contemplation. Kravica shows how even waterfalls of modest height can offer deep visual and sensory experiences when the surrounding environment plays its part.
Krka destaca por su accesibilidad y su cuidado.
Brúarfoss is immediately recognizable for its color. The water displays an intense glacial blue, the result of meltwater carrying fine particles that scatter light in a distinctive way. This hue contrasts sharply with the dark volcanic rock around it. The river flows across a fractured lava field, splitting into multiple threads, before narrowing into a defined channel where the movement becomes more focused. It is not a tall or thunderous waterfall, but its aesthetics are especially captivating. Marked trails lead to observation points that allow visitors to appreciate the rhythmic patterns of the water without disturbing the surroundings. Moss-covered rocks add texture and soften the landscape's lines.
Los lagos alpinos reflejan el cielo y las cumbres con una nitidez sorprendente, creando escenas que invitan a la contemplación.
Number 1. Plitvice, Waterfalls, Croatia. In the Dinaric Alps, Plitvice National Park contains a system of lakes and waterfalls that feels carefully orchestrated by nature. Water flows between different levels, forming a mosaic of cascades that vary in width, sound, and rhythm. Travertine deposits continue to reshape the water's path, creating new barriers and channels over time. This constant process ensures the landscape is never exactly the same. The water's colors, ranging from green to turquoise to milky blue, result from the interaction of minerals, microorganisms, and sunlight. Wooden walkways allow visitors to move safely through the park, offering close views without disturbing the environment. Plitvice is not a single landscape, but a sequence of changing atmospheres. It is a place where exploration becomes an ongoing dialogue with water. Water never stops. It learns, circles, and transforms. Water does not act on impulse or through immediate force. Its true strength lies in consistency. As it moves through a landscape, it does not seek to dominate but to adapt. When it meets hard rock, it flows around it. When it finds a crack, it seeps in. When the ground yields, it deepens its course.
No se siente vacío sino lleno de matices,
mosses and hanging plants, creating a scene with an almost... Waterfalls are one of the most visible expressions of this ongoing process. What we see as a dramatic plunge is in reality the result of a long learning process between water and terrain. Each drop follows established paths, reinforces ancient routes, and adjusts its course according to the resistance it encounters. Nothing happens suddenly. Even the largest waterfalls began as subtle, barely noticeable changes in elevation that gradually expanded over time. Observing a waterfall closely reveals that the landscape is not fixed. It is constantly changing, even if that change is slow on a human scale. The continuous sound of water, the way it disperses into the air, or how it gathers at the base, are all clues to a process that remains active. What we are witnessing is not a finished result, but one stage in an ongoing transformation.
Estos lugares no buscan impresionar, y justamente por eso
Water shows that victory does not always belong to what pushes hardest, but to what persists. Closing. With Plitvice, we conclude this journey through some of the most fascinating waterfalls on the planet. Each one, from the most powerful to the most delicate, demonstrates water's ability to transform geography through patience and persistence. These landscapes do more than inspire admiration. They encourage us to understand the processes that sustain them and the importance of exploring them with respect. If one of these waterfalls sparked your curiosity, tell us which one you would like to visit in person. Your participation enriches every journey and helps shape the destinations we will explore next. See you on the next adventure.